and welcome to another video of IELTS Master. For today's reading, we have selected an academic reading from Cambridge Part 1. The passage would be it would be the fourth reading for the book. And we will be doing only the first passage for this video because if we are stretching the video, it can go longer than 4 hours, which can be a bit boring for the students who are trying to get a good grasp on reading. For today's reading, you can get the link in the description from where you can download the reading as a PDF. If you want to print that, you can go ahead and print. If you have the book for this one, that is very good also, that you can practice from the book. So for today's reading, it is Glass Capturing the Dance of Light. So let's see what the reading says. If you want to just practice the reading all by yourself, you can practice that from the link. Complete the reading, come back to the video, and then you can see the explanation. And then we will be also giving the explanation for the reasons why this answer is coming from this part of the reading. So let's begin. So reading passage 1, you should be spending 20 minutes for the question 1 to 13. And let's start with the reading because that's what they're saying about the question. But what about the reading? Glass capturing the dance of light. Para A. Glass, in one form or another, has long been in noble service to humans. So they are saying glass in any form, like in one form or another. So in any form, glass is kind of a versatile material, you can say, and human beings are using glass as one of the most widely used of manufactured materials and suddenly the most versatile. Yeah, it can be as imposing as a telescope mirror, the width of a tennis court, or as small and simple as a marble rolling across dirt. So again, this reading, if you see the first few lines, you won't see a punctuation anywhere, but they have capitalized. So in the exam, there is lesser and lesser possibility of the reading coming like this without proper punctuation and so on. But here, just try to comprehend the passage instead of going for the punctuation mark, because even they are missing that punctuation mark, you can understand what they're trying to say. Okay, and they are saying that glass can be like as simple as a marble, the thing that children play with, or it can be something really massive as a telescope mirror, which is yay big like the tennis court. Next, okay, they say the uses of this adaptable material have been broadened dramatically by new technologies, glass fiber optics. So they are also saying that this material, that is glass, is really adaptive, and their usage, like in which areas they can be used, has been really broadened. Like they can be used in several different areas. And how? Because of the new technology that is glass fiber optics. Next, more than 8 million miles carrying telephone and television signals across nation, glass ceramics serving as the nose cones of missile and as crowns for teeth, tiny glass beads taking radiation doses inside the body to specific organs, even a new type of glass fashioned of nuclear waste in order to dispose of what unwanted material of that unwanted material. So they're saying where glass are used, they're saying that glass is trying to, like the fiber optics is carrying signals for telephone and televisions across nation. Like they are carrying different signal. You're watching a show, you are watching a live show that is like a cricket being played in Australia, and you're watching that live sitting in your country. Next, they're saying that there are glass ceramics which are serving as the nose, like the pointy thing, in front of the missile. So they are serving as that. The crowns for your teeth, yeah. So it can be one of those fake or something surgically used by the doctors, and that fake teeth is within your mouth and that's made of glass. Tiny glass beads that is taking radiation doses inside the body of specific organs. So glass is in our body, glass is in our mouth, maybe if you have that teeth. Glass is in a missile which is flying over you or carrying signals, anything like that. Okay, and next, B. On the horizon are optical computers. So on the horizon is something that you are seeing in the front. It is the spot where the ground is mixing or they are coming in contact with the sky. So that's the horizon. So something that you can see in the near future. On the horizon are optical computers. So in the future, there is a chance that there will be optical computers. These could store programs and process information by means of light, that is, impulses from tiny laser rather than electrons. So in the future, the optical computers will be storing programs and the CPU, that is the processing unit, and the processing will be happening with the means of light instead of electrons and everything that happens right now. And the pulses would travel over glass fibers, not copper wire. So now, whenever you imagine of a computer or any laptop, you think of some wire. You think of like something inside it is having a copper wire or maybe with a coating, black wire, blue wire, whatnot. But in the future, that won't be anymore. These machines could function hundreds of times faster than today's electronic computers and hold vastly more information. So they will be working faster and they will be having more and more capacity to retain and store anything in it. Today, fiber optics are used to obtain a clearer image of smaller and smaller objects than ever before. So now, even now, the fiber optics, whenever we are using, it captures the clear image, a smaller of like the smaller objects better than before. Even, and let's move further, even bacterial viruses. So even if you're taking a picture of bacteria, virus, or fungus, so it will be getting a clearer picture. It can be a tiny thing, but the picture that it is taking, it would be crisp. That was not before. A new generation of optical instruments is emerging that can provide detailed imaging of the inner workings of cell. So new generation of optical instruments. So they are on the way to come into the market and they are providing like the image that is being taken by them is providing really intricate workings like you know how cells look because you have seen that through microscope and now this optical instrument will be doing the same but they will be giving you some kind of better picture quality. It is the surge in fiber optic use and in liquid crystal displays LCD that has set the US glass industry a $16 billion business employing some 150,000 workers, so 150,000 workers, to building new plants to meet demand. So here they're saying that there is a surge, like there is a demand in the field of optic or fiber optic use and LCD that US glass industry is employing more and more workers. C. But it is not only in technology and commerce that glass has widened its horizons. The use of glass as art, a tradition spins back at least to Roman times. It is also booming. So, booming means it is growing. And now they say that the use of glass as an art. So using glass as an art, we have seen some of the, whenever you go to a store to buy something like a miniature of something or maybe cute miniature dolls, something like that, you can see glass dome shaped and there are dolls inside like a globe or something you have seen there. You can have also seen dolphins made out of glass, roses made out of glass. So glass is being used as an art because you are just melting the glass, bending that in a different shape, and selling that in the market after coloring and decorating that, right? And they are saying that this kind of glass, like usage of glass as an art, dates back to Roman history. Nearly everywhere, it seems, men and women are blowing glass and creating works of art. So, everywhere, like nowadays, if we try to say everywhere, you can see TikTok videos of people creating something with glass, or nowadays, you can see YouTube videos of people creating something out of glass. You have seen mostly, like I have seen videos, people melting down the glass. It is red in color, it is liquidy, and they are pouring that in different shapes and creating something. And next line, I guess this will be quotations, which is having arrow like thingy. So let's presume that this is a quotation. I didn't sell a piece of glass until 1975, Dale Chihuly said, smiling, for in the 18 years since the end of the dry spell, he has become one of the most financially successful artists of the 20th century. So this person, he said that he didn't sell a piece of glass until 1975. Maybe that was the period when people were not interested in buying glass and artworks from glass. Next, he now has a new commission, a glass sculpture for the headquarters building of a pizza company, for which his fee is $500,000. So now things have changed, and now his glass sculpture is standing there in the headquarters, like headquarter building of a pizza company. And for that, he got the fee of $500,000. Imagine, right? D. But not all the glass technology that touches our lives is ultra modern. So, not everything regarding glass that we can see in daily life is like hi fi or modern, ultra modern, like that. Consider the simple light bulb. Yeah, so we have seen light bulbs, you have seen tube lights. They are made of glasses too, and they are so simple. They are not that modern. You are seeing them commonly everywhere. So, at the turn of the century, most light bulbs were hand blown. So, previously the light bulbs were made by hand. That's what this line is trying to say. And the cost of one was equivalent to half a day's pay for average worker. So, yeah, and this concept is still there because if something is made by hand, the price of the thing increases gradually because it takes time and effort to create one single item. And similarly with the light bulbs, they were like equivalent to somebody's half day pay for average worker. In effect, the invention of the ribbon machine by Corning in the 1920s lighted a nation. So, in the 1920s, there was an invention, like a machine was invented by Corning, and the name of the machine is ribbon machine. The price of a bulb plunged. So, yeah, if something is handmade, the price will be greater than anything that is made in machine. That is correct. And machine made things again will not be having anything that is different from one another and so on. Okay, so let's see. Small wonder that the machine has been called one of the greatest mechanical achievements of all time. So, this machine, that is a ribbon machine, has been given the title of the like small wonder that the machine has been called one of the greatest mechanical achievements of all time, like the best thing to be all like best to be in the market, maybe. Yet it is very simple. Let's see how. And now you will see like the process of creating the glass here. So a narrow ribbon of molten glass travels over a moving belt of steel in which there are holes. So just imagine that there is a belt of steel. Like whenever you go for grocery shopping and you have seen, you try to put your items to the cashier and there is a belt that the cashier mechanically pulls that towards her and she scans the item. So just imagine a belt like that. And in that belt is made of steel. So in that belt, what is being done? Molten glass is being poured and the molten glass is traveling towards the other end. Okay, and that belt has some holes too. Now, the glass sags through the holes. Sags means it falls in through the holes and into waiting molds. So there are some molds beneath the holes, and in the molds, the glass that is a liquid glass, it falls in and it takes the shape or yeah, puffs of compressed air then shape the glass. So after the glass falls into the mold, there are air pressure or puffs of air which creates the shape of the glass. In this way, the envelope of a light bulb is made by a single machine at the rate of 66,000 an hour. So that's the process of creating a light bulb, and the single machine can create 66,000 light bulbs an hour as compared with 1200 a day produced by a team of 4 glass blowers. So this is man made, that 1200 a day. 66,000 an hour is the machine made. So just look at the comparison, just look at the difference. And a day has 24 hours. So multiply that. You will know which is giving you more profit or which is more like efficient. E. The secret of the versatility of glass lies in its interior structure. Although it is rigid and thus like a solid, the atoms are arranged in a random disorder function, characteristic of a liquid. So they say that glass is really versatile, that is, glass can be made into different items. And how? Because of its interior structure, the structure of its atoms, like atomic structure. It is rigid, like you have seen glass, it is solid, it is brittle, I would say. It is whatever quality that you see whenever you hold a glass item. So those items, they are solid, no wonder. But they can be turned into liquid if you're melting that. And when that melts, it is similar to your water that you are drinking. So just imagine that as ice cube, which is solid, and glass is solid, and then when it's melting, it's turning into liquid. Okay, in the melting process, the atoms in the raw materials are distributed from their normal position in the molecular structure before they can find their way back to crystalline arrangements. The glass cools. So when there is a process of melting, the atoms in that raw material that is in the liquid glass, they are distributed from the position that they were before. Maybe it was a glass bulb, for example, and you're trying to make a dolphin. So when it is melted, the atoms of that glass is distributed into the shape of the dolphin from the glass. And before they can find their way back, means before they can find their way back to a glass bulb shape, they are cooled and that shape is formed, like a different shape is formed. This loosens in molecular structure, gives the material what engineers call tremendous formability. which allows technicians to tailor glass to whatever they need. So, this, like melting the glass, letting the atoms move to a different position, making a different shape, and before they can return back to the previous shape, like the shape, it solidifies. This kind of feature of glass lets a technician make anything out of the glass. Today, scientists continue to experiment with new glass mixtures, and building designers test their imaginations with application of special types of glass. So these days, scientists and architecture, like the architects, they try to use glass in different ways, and they're still trying to rediscover if something they can make that could be beneficial. They try to experiment all the time with the glass. A London architect, Mike Davis, sees even more dramatic buildings using molecular chemistry. So, yeah, wherever you have the sense of creativity, you think you can make something different out of glass, you will be trying those, right? So, this architect who is based in London, he tries to imagine that he can create dramatic buildings if he has that molecular chemistry, like he is using molecular chemistry. And then, under quotes, glass is the great building material of the future, the dynamic skin, he said. Think of glass that has been treated to react to electric currents going through it. Glass that will change from clear to opaque at the push of a button that gives you instant curtains. Think of how the tall buildings in New York could perform a symphony of colors as the glass in them is made to change colors instantly. So, what he's saying is glass can be treated to react to electrical currents going through it. Like you can create something inside the glass and it will be passing the currents and changing the lights. Like it can be a glass with illuminating, like an illuminating glass. Then he says that even you can create the glass in such a way that it will be changing its transparency and being opaque. It will be just like a curtain. You won't need any more curtain for your windows, for your doors. If the glass has the characteristic to change its form from transparent to opaque, he even says that think about the tall buildings in New York, like any tall building that you can think about, it could create different kind like a rainbow of colors if they have the ability to change the colors within them. So this can be made and this is a possibility with glass. Next, glass as instant curtains is available now. So glass changing their form, like the changing itself from transparent to opaque is available now. Even you have seen people wearing glasses that is photochromatic. Like some people have a glass that whenever they step out in the sun, it changes its color to black. So that is also a feature of glass. Even that's like a feature that we are seeing since ages. You have seen your grandfather or grandmother wearing such glass. So yeah, that is possible for glass to change color, and we have seen that in our spectacles too. Okay. As for the glass changing colors instantly, that may come true. Yeah, changing colors instantly. I have seen glasses going from transparent to black. I wear that kind of glass. So, yeah, that is there. And maybe in the future, you will be seeing glasses from going from transparent to red to blue to green. And that's like just changing colors on and on and on. Mike Davis' vision may indeed be on the way to fulfillment. So, yeah, so in the future, it may be the possibility of glasses changing colors. Okay, so this passage is done. Next, we will be going to the questions. If you want to practice the questions now, you can go ahead, pause the video, and try to practice the questions. Try to do that within 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, try to resume the video and try to see like from where we are getting the answers, like which passage is giving the answer for which question and why. Now let's check the questions 1 to 5. Reading passage 1 has 6 paragraphs A to F. Choose the most suitable heading or each paragraph from the list of headings below. Write the appropriate numbers 1 to 10 in Roman in boxes 1 to 5 on your answer sheet. Paragraph A has been done for you as an example. Note there are more headings than paragraphs, so you will not use all of them. You may use any heading more at once. Okay, so it is really essential to go through what is said for the question, like what has been told for you to do, because you can see the paragraph is A to F, the question is 1 to 5, and the options, that is the list of headings, being given in Roman numeral. Students make mistakes during the exam, like they forget to write it in the Roman numeral, but they just try to mention the para, which is already mentioned in the question. Like question 1, they will mention B. But that's what they are looking for. Like it is B only. So don't try to skip what is mentioned in the question. There are three different things, and it is really, really important for you to concentrate, because if you're making a mistake, like you're writing for question 1 instead of Roman numerals, you're writing 6 or 7, something like that, in just like that, like you're not writing it in Roman numeral. So that might create a problem. You won't get the mark, because even though it is 6, but it is not like the VI in Roman. So it is not the exact thing that the examiner is looking into. So let's start. And we won't be skipping the examples, because examples are our best friend. They give us the hint that we need in the examination. So example is para A, answer is 10. Let's see what's 10. Everyday uses of glass. Okay, let's move to para A. Let's see where it is being said like that. So in para A, if we see the para A, it said something about glass can be used as simple as a marble, like here, and as like massive as a telescope mirror, which is yay big, right? And now the questions, like the option is everyday uses. Let's see where they have said anything about everyday uses of glass. So if you try to just move to the middle of this para here, you can see the uses of this adaptable material have been broadened dramatically by new technologies. Like this is the uses of glasses, and they are being said about the present time. So yes, this is saying about the uses of glass, and then they're saying something about the signals being carried for telephone, television. That happens every day, because we talk with people every day, we send them messages, we watch TV and whatnot. Then glass ceramics, which are serving as parts of missile, then that is also happening every day, because countries are investing their economy in producing missile. Then for artificial teeth or part of teeth, so this is also mentioned as an everyday thing that is being done, and this is done in the present scenario. So this is always letting you know that everyday use of glass, anything that is stated there in the last few lines, like these, they are only stating glass is being used in everyday basis for this. Next, let's start with the question. Paragraph B. So let's move to paragraph B and see what the paragraph say. Paragraph B. On the horizon are optical computers. So something is said about the future, because on the horizon that is there. And this computers in the future, they can do so many things that is also mentioned in there. So next that they are trying to say are, today fiber optics are used in this. So they have mentioned something about the future, that if this happens in this will be done. And yeah, they are on the list, like if they say on the horizon. So yeah, discovering that is definitely on the list, or discovery is right now going on, like the invention is going on. And for today, like now, these time, fiber optics are used to get more clear images, and they are talking about the bacterias and viruses and images of those. Next, they are saying that emerging means it is going on currently. So optical instruments are being discovered, they are being like manufactured in the market, and with that they can see the cells, also the inner working, how the cell looks like. Next, LCD and employment, they're saying these also in this para. So let's move back to the examples, like the options, and see which one will be fitting. We know that 10th is already being done, so we will be excluding 10th from our list. Let's check one. Growth in the market for glass craft. We did not see the paragraph B letting us know with glass craft. 2. Computers and their dependence on glass. Nothing is said like that explicit. What makes glass so adaptable? It has not been said like that yet, because we were reading that in the last few paragraphs about their structure. Historical development of glass. I don't see that happening though. Scientists' dream cost millions. Even that is not also mentioned. Architectural experiments with glass. This has been mentioned but not in the para B. Glass art galleries flourish, not mentioned there. Exciting innovations in fiber optics. We are reading something about the innovation and about computers. If they are like something is on the horizon, so we are reading something about that. A former glass technology, no, it was about the light bulbs, and we are not on that para yet, and 10th is done. So, for that reason, 8 would be the one for our question for the para B. Next, number 2 is paragraph C, and let's see what paragraph C says. So, here, what they are trying to say is glass has widened its horizon, means glass has different types of usage. And next they are saying about glass art. So we were also reading an option with glass art. What was that option? Let's go back and see. Growth in the market for glass craft. Okay, so let's see if we get something similar to that. So, the use of glass as art, a tradition spins back to at least to Roman times, is also booming. So, they say glass art and that market is growing. And we also read growth in the question. So, growth in the market for glasscraft, and we said that it is booming. For that reason, question 2 will be option Roman 1. Next is question 3, paragraph D. And let's read what D says. D says D says about the light bulb. It is a light bulb para. So it says not everything that glass has been made into are that complex, because there are simple things like the light bulb. So let's see what else the para says in this. They said mostly about how the light bulbs were made, like what was the cost of the light bulb, and it was handmade. And then they said about the machine, the ribbon machine by Corning, and how many light bulbs were made an hour with the help of the machine, and how many were handmade throughout the day. Even they said how the ribbon machine works in order to produce the light bulbs, that is a ribbon like molten glass, like the liquid glass is going through the belt of steel which has holes and that has some molds in it. In between those molds, the glass gets deposited and then the air pressure tries to create the glass shape. So that was all about that para. Let's go back to the options and see which one will be the best one. So we are done with 1, we are done with 10, and we are done with 8. Let's see with the remaining computer and their dependence on glass. No, we were only trying to see about light bulbs. What makes glass so adaptable? Nope. Historical development of glass. No, we did not read about that though. And next, try to see scientists dream cost million. No. Architectural experiments. No. Glass art galleries flourish. No. 8 is done already. A former glass technology. Yes, because we were only speaking about the light bulbs throughout the para. And that's a former glass technology because it is invented way back. And that's the reason for question 3, ninth one, like the Roman ninth option, would be the answer that we are getting. Question 4 is paragraph E. Let's read what it says. The secret of the versatility of glass. So here they're talking about the molecular structure of the glass that we were speaking about and how we can transform the glass from one kind of substance to another, like from one shape to another. And that is possible because of the molecular structure. Before they can change back to the original shape, they just get solidified, like they are cooled down and they are solid, turns into solid, and that's the reason they are favored by engineers. Let's see which option would be the one. And we know 1 is done, 8 is done, 9 is done, and 10 is done. So computers and their dependence on glass. No. What makes glass so adaptable? It can be because versatile was the word. Adaptable can be also the same thing. And next, let's do not skip the other ones. We can try and see if something else also fits with that. Historical development of glass. No. Scientist dream. No. Architectural experiment will be in the following para because we have read the passage. Glass at galleries flourish, no, and not the remaining 3. So it will be the third option, what makes glass so adaptable. Next is question 5, para F. Let's go to para F and see what was the para all about. So this para was all about building and what kind of thing we can see in the future if glass can be treated and they can change their color, they can have electrical like connections and they can change that into a curtain and so on. That was being said in this para. Let's go back to the options and see which one will be fitting. Okay, computers and their dependence on glass. No, what this was done. Okay, so historical development of glass, no. Scientists' dream cost millions. It was not about anything with money. Architectural experiments with glass, yes, because they are mostly like 90% of the para is talking about building glass, this, that. So yeah, that will be an architectural experiment. So 1 to 5 is done, and next, let's move to the next set of questions now. Let's move to the next set of questions and question 6 to 8. The diagram below shows the principle of. So yeah, again you can see either the spelling mistake is over here or in the para because we have seen that is Corning's ribbon machine and here it's Cummings ribbon machine. So either or, there can be mistakes, and if there is a spelling mistake in the reading and you are trying to use any one of the word, that would be considered because if that mistake is made by them, you are just following the passage. So it is not your fault, it is their fault. So moving further, let's read. Label the diagram by selecting no more than three words from the reading passage to fill each numbered space. Write your answers in boxes 6 to 8 on your answer sheet. Okay, so this is a diagram, and that's a Corning. I would say Corning because I read the passage first. So, Corning's ribbon machine. And now, in the paragraph, we read about liquid glass being poured into a steel belt, and there are molds in which the glass is falling into, and then, like it said, the word sag. So, falling into, and then blast of air blowing in them and giving the shape of the glass. So, let's check the para once before writing the answer, and you can say not more than three words. So let's go back to the para and see there. Here we can see Corning and ribbon machine, and this one was the passage where it said about how the machine works. So a narrow ribbon of molten glass, so you can say molten glass whenever you are seeing this, the like the number 6 here would be molten glass. Next, number 7 is trying to point towards the belt. So let's go back and see what else was said. Molten glass travels over moving belt of steel. So you can mention it as belt of steel because three words are there, or just moving belt, or even you can say steel belt, anything like that. Number 8, so we can see these can be the molds that was being talked about, and the glass sags through the holes and into waiting molds. So those are the molds in which the glass is sagging into. So all of these are the molds. You can just write molds over here. Next, let's check 9 to 13, the last set of the question for this passage. Look at the list below of the uses of glass according to the passage. State whether these uses exist today, will exist in the future, or are not mentioned by the writer. In boxes 9 to 13, write A. If the uses exist today, B. If the uses will exist in the future, C. If the uses are not mentioned by the writer. Tip. Here I have seen students making mistake, and mostly they are trying to finish the first passage in a hurry, so they skip what is mentioned in the question. They just check this part, and then they are like, okay, ninth, it exists today, or use exists today, or exists in the future, something like that. But you do not have to write anything like that. You have to write only A, B, C. So it's better to read the question twice, because first time you might miss something, you might skip something, you might be checking that at a glance. So read the question twice before answering it, and just follow what is mentioned. Just go through the lines and follow. That's it. Reading is easy if you are following what is in the question paper. You will be losing mark if you're trying to skip the question, or like what is mentioned in the question. If you're skipping that, you will be missing mark. Okay, so ninth, dental fittings. We read something about missile nose. We read something about teeth. So let's move back and see where we read that. A para. If you check A para, you will see in here the uses of this adaptive material have been broadened dramatically by new technologies. Glass fiber optics more than 8 million miles, carrying telephone and television signals across nations. Glass ceramic serving as the nose cones of missile and as crowns for teeth. So, for the question, dental fittings, crowns for teeth, that area is the one, and it is existing today. So for that, you will be putting A in this box wherever you're writing it. Next, optical computers. And we read about the optical computers. If we go back, passage B here, on the horizon are optical computers. These could store programs and process information by means of light, pulses from tiny laser rather than electrons, and the pulses would travel over glass fiber, not copper wires. These machines could function hundreds of times faster than today's electronic computers and hold vastly more information. Now, there are certain times when you are not sure what this line or what this word means, this sentence means. Like on the horizon. What is on the horizon? I don't know when I'm solving the question. I'm just reading on this are optical computers. Is it now or is it something in the future or what is this? What is on the horizon? If you don't understand that, skip that. You can see hints all over the passage for this one, and where we see the hints, these could store, this could. So if that was storing right now, so we wouldn't have used this word. We should have said that this stores this. So this could. So there is a possibility this could. Again, you can see, and the pulses would travel over glass fiber. So would travel. If that is happening right now, we would say, and the pulses travels over this. So not in the present. Check the tense. If you are unsure with any phrases like on the horizon, check the tense and see, is that in present? Is that in future? What's that? Again, these machines could function. So could. And again, there is a comparison that is like straightforward to somebody who is not even checking on the horizon, would, could, all those things. That says these machines could function hundreds of times faster than today's electronic computers. So it would do something than today's means this would be in the future and they are being mentioned. So for that, if we go to the question, optical computers will be if the uses will exist in the future. So B, it will be existing in the future because on the horizon and would, could, all those are there. 11. Sculptures. Let's move to the paragraph and see where they were talking about sculptures, not in para B because we have seen what para B is all about. Let's move to C. And here we can see something about a sculpture and glass, like use of glass as an art, creating works of art. So everything that they're talking about is glass being used as a form of art. At the end, they are saying about sculpture. So the sculpture is there because they are saying he now has a new commission, a glass sculpture for the headquarters building of a pizza company for which his fee is $500,000. So this is existing at present. And for that reason, 11th will be A because that exists today. Okay. Next, fashions. And now the tricky thing. We will be seeing fashions in the para, but it won't be mentioning anything about the word like fashion, but it is only trying to say something, and that word is not like the noun fashion that it is being used. So if you just go through E, there is a word in the fourth line here. It will be although it is rigid and thus like a solid, the atoms are arranged in a random disordered fashion. That's it. Like fashion is synonymous to manner, like it is kind of a disordered manner. And that's the reason I don't see fashion anywhere else being described, that glass in the being used in fashion industry or something like that. And that's the reason I would say this is not there, or it is not mentioned by the writer, and will be C. 13 is curtains, and we read about the curtains in the last para when we said glass being used in the field of architecture. And where did we see that? We saw that in opaque and transparent, where it was described. So if we try to go a little bit down in para F, we will see here about curtains. So let's read. Think of glass that has been treated to react to electric currents going through it, glass that will change from clear to opaque at the push of a button that gives you instant curtains. So curtains, it has been said. Next, here they're also saying as for the glass changing the colors instantly, there that may come true. So for the curtains part, we can see it exists, and they say that in the building material that changing colors instantly is there, and glass as instant curtains is available now. So it is available now, that means it is at the present, it is existing, and that's the reason 13 will be A. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up, share the video, and you can comment here too. If you want me to check any of your writing, you can send that to the email address that I have given in the description box, and also that is shown in the community page. And I will be trying to make the writing video. I did not get enough time this week, but no promises, but I will be trying to make that soon. And you can also press the bell button of my YouTube video channel, and you will be getting my latest notifications. And all the best for your exam if you're preparing for that. See you in the next video.